It's time for the main event. It's the Shoe Shine.
¿Qué ondas, vatos locos? It's your boy Dave from the 408, broadcasting all the way from the city of sin, my new home. Joining me as always, all the way from the city of brotherly love, my co-host Philly Irish Drew Evo. ¿Qué pasa, homie?
What's up, Dave?
Hey, man, a pleasure to have you back on Monday nights. We're back on a Monday night for another regularly scheduled episode of The Shoe Shine. And this weekend kind of sucked, Drew. I'm not even gonna front, man. I ain't gonna fake the funk, but this weekend sucked ass if you were a boxing fan. And you know what? A couple things I regret. Guys, if you guys did not check out my vlog, I need to know what you guys think, because I'm getting people wanting to see Dave from the 408's new life in Las Vegas. And it may not be appealing to people who follow Drew and I on the boxing tip, right? They do go hand in hand. This is the fight city, fight city of the world, fight capital of the world. But if you don't want to see it on my channel, let me know. Drop a comment, because you may not find it interesting. The views don't show that, but the support and the comments do show that you might want to see me do other vlog content. Let me know either way. If you didn't, go check it out. I'm trying to get my, cinematography skills, try to get them fresh. So, it might come in handy when I actually do some real boxing content. All right, enough of that said. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. Drew, I'm pissed off about this weekend. I was pissed off like crazy Saturday, man, because I could have gone out Saturday night on the town like I just pointed out. In fact, Drew, I had an opportunity to get some amazing tickets to that ROlly ROmero fight for practically nothing, for reals. And I went back on my word. When I heard that he was fighting 40-year-old Barroso from Venezuela, and no disrespect to him because he came to fight and put on a hell of a show, I knew something fishy was going to happen, man. I had premonitions about this being a suck-ass fight at the Cosmopolitan. Maybe I regret staying home. Maybe I should have just gone to the Cosmopolitan and gambled, Drew, and just been out on the town. But it didn't work out that way. Not only that, but the ESPN card, I stayed home to watch that ESPN card that was being broadcast from Stockton, California. I'm from the Bay, so Stockton's like an extension. That card kind of sucked too. I was excited to see Ruben Villa. I was excited to see the return of Gabe Flores, who had, almost exited the sport recently, and now he's under the tutelage of Fernando Vargas, one of the great Chicano boxers of the 2000s, right? I was excited to see that, but it all was just kind of underwhelming to me, the ESPN card and then the debacle on Showtime, Drew. We're going to get to that, man. Did you know, Drew, that there was even YouTubers fighting, and there was some funny shit even in that main event? When I mean funny shit, I mean mystery knockdowns.
Be honest, I watched it and everything. That definitely was not a knockout. That was an illegal elbow that hit him. And they have to do something. They can't just call it a no contest or DQ, because, tell you the truth, the misfits don't really exist unless KSI's winning and everything. So, tell you the truth, what would the misfits be without KSI winning? Right now, he's the biggest. He's been the main event on mostly all the big shows and everything. Like, and it's a shame because there's a boxing promoter over in Europe that's a big time promoter is promoting these events, and he's not stepping in to say, hey, that wasn't a legal knockdown, that was a elbow.
Right. Let me show everybody why am I even talking about? Because the boxing was so piss poor this freaking weekend that I might as well comment on what the zone is doing, because the zone is putting this stuff up. And you got to be careful, guys. I have to be careful with that. I can't play no audio or they'll copyright strike me. We'll probably get this shit copyrighted. But here you guys can see in slow motion amongst the first travesties of the weekend in the sport of boxing. Here we see KSI, and there it is, guys. A right Muay Thai elbow to the jaw. And if that doesn't knock you out, then I don't know what will, Drew. But that's basically what we were talking about. Fight over, right? That was a beautiful Muay Thai elbow to the chin. Who could survive that? That's definitely not boxing. Last I checked, that's not boxing at all. Boxing MMA 365 says, nice elbow. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know Muay Thai rules were allowed in the sport of boxing. But, that was just the first inkling that some bullshit was going to happen on Saturday night amongst the sport of boxing. The ESPN card, though, in the Bay Area, the outskirts, and I was rooting for Salinas' Ruben Villa, who just picked up an exciting 3-fight promotional deal with Bob Arum. Ruben Villa, someone who was kind enough to allow me to come into his gym just last year before he fought on Thompson Boxing. That got him this tremendous opportunity, Drew. I was excited to see him. And for someone Ruben Villa, who's beat Shakur Stevenson twice in the amateurs, not known for power, picked up a KO win. Very nice. Picked up a KO win. Gabe Flores. Drew, were we just talking about Gabe Flores being washed up? Now under the tutelage of Fernando Ferros Vargas, comes up with a brilliant KO. I can't say much about the guy. Did you check out those 2 knockouts?
Yeah. He caught a good hit. It was a good punch and everything. It was a flash punch. So will he get back on track? Hopefully he does.
Yeah, as far as confidence boosting for Gabe Flores, a lot of people criticize his father-son relationship, some of the closest relationship you could have in the sport of boxing, father-son, and they said that he should get a second pair of eyes. Now, typically, Fernando Ferros Vargas, who also trained our boy Francisco Vargas, El Alacran here from Vegas in his early career, Drew, he hasn't been very good at reviving fighters' careers. In fact, he tried to revive Philadelphia's Gabe Rosado once. Gabe Rosado was training with Ferros. Phil LaGreco, you guys remember him? He tried to revive Phil LaGreco's career and did not do so. But there's some kind of chemistry going on there, guys, because Gabe Flores hanging out with Fernando's kids, who are also on a great path. I think this Saturday we just saw Amato on that card too come up with a victory on the top rank. And next Saturday we'll see his youngest, Emiliano El General, starts at 3:00. Drew, I got to make some decisions. Drew's thinking about catching some Z's, but hang with us tight, guys. The phone line is open if you guys want to chime in, 702-710-3627. We'll try to get Drew to wake up because we'll be talking about his Loma versus Devin Haney for Undisputed at 135. But Drew, let's just quickly recap this ESPN card. I mentioned Salinas' Ruben Villa, Drew. And this is a little bit of fascinating sports history. But this past week, I found out from my friend who writes for ESPN that a legend in the NFL, all right, his name was Joe Cap, the toughest Chicano. Sports Illustrated wrote an article about him in 1969, Drew, from Salinas, California. Not originally born in Salinas, but raised in Salinas, California, the town which Ruben Villa operates out of, just about a half an hour or 45-minute drive from San Jose, California. Drew, Joe Cap, 1969, documented as the first, known in sports as the first Chicano to play quarterback in the NFL, to go to the Super Bowl, the first Mexican-American. They say that he learned to throw the football by throwing heads of lettuce in the fields, and his parents did work, or his family did work in the agriculture industry, which Salinas, California is rich in campesino tradition and history. He passed away in San Jose, California of dementia a very, anyone who has family who's dealt with that, Drew, that I dealt with that. And, recently, just a year ago, my wife losing her grandma to a very tough battle with dementia and Alzheimer's, Drew. He passed away in a nursing home in San Jose, California, just minutes from the nursing home that we lost my wife's grandma to. And Drew, there's one thing that I want to bring up about this. Not only is this a remarkable story because he's from Salinas, California, and he passed away, this is the only guy who's ever gone to the Super Bowl, the Canadian football equivalent, known as the Grey Cup CFL, and also won the Rose Bowl, I believe, with the Cal Bears. Man, very interesting guy. So you go out and read this article about him. He passed away in San Jose, known as the toughest Chicano. So rest in peace, Joe Cap, Vikings legend. Yes, Sin City Syndicate, a Viking legend, 1969. And I also have a very good friend, Drew, that I was talking about that says you still possibly owe him money. His speech was telling me that I got to talk about this story. He says, I think Drew still owes me money. And I said, I got you. We're going to end that in a couple of weeks, obviously, in our buddy's speech, Vikings guy. Drew, there was also a tragic death in the sport of boxing this week that I want to talk about. And rest in peace to this Filipino fighter. And that's the reason why I'm so upset. Most of you guys should be upset about this bullshit stoppage that ROlly ROmero was gifted a decision. But there was a death in the sport of boxing this week from the Philippines. Let me just make sure I get his picture up correctly here. But yeah, just a reminder, man, that boxing, why can't I find his picture, guys? Is this it? Yeah, rest in peace, Kenneth Igano from the Philippines, who passed away last week after a very tough fight in the Philippines. Drew, this is the first death in boxing that I know of this year, but every year we manage to have one, possibly two, sometimes three fatal deaths in the ring or as a result of the ring. A very somber moment. Rest in peace, Kenneth Igano. And this is why we should all be very, very upset. And D-Style, I saw D-Style in the room. Shout out to D-Style. D-Style, I didn't get to be on that round table last week because I had to take my new animal to the vet, Drew. But we brought this up with Calix, man, that this fight coming up at the Cosmo was a sham, and it was a disrespect what happened. The Tony Weeks injected himself into that. Man, I'm all over the place, Drew. Let me let you talk, bro. Tell me your thoughts on Janibek, the middleweight division, and his knockout of Canelo's sparring partner. Let's get to that one. Let's get that one right off the list right here.
The middleweight division is a shit show. Like, you want to call yourself the king of a shit show division, go ahead and do it. Like, to be honest, man, like, you're not getting any, you're not going to fight unification. That's for sure. Like, now, like, really, the champions are on the PBC side. So you actually are going to be B-sides to them. Even in the stallion law, you're going to probably be a B-side too. So, like, it's just, it's a shit show division. He's going to be matched up with a lot of lower B-level fighters.
BC, I mean, this guy Butler has been knocked out in the ring. The best things that were said about him, I think I read our boy Lukey Boxing say that, Canelo brought him into camp one time as a sparring. Like, that's the highlight of his career, is being in Canelo's camp as a sparring partner. But, I mean, in the 2 rounds that we got to see him, I mean, Janibek looked like the kind of guy who you could see why they're trying to paint this picture of him as the boogeyman. And they found the right guy. Paulie Malignaggi on his podcast said they found the right guy to give the illusion once again that Janibek is the boogeyman. And that hopefully they could entice somebody like Charlo, maybe cross the street, do a cross promotion, but somebody with a bigger name, with a stage presence like Jaime Munguia, who supposedly ducked him. Maybe now they can get the attention of somebody like Jaime Munguia to put them in a position to, cash out on the guy. I don't know how much longer. I mean, if you ask his trainers, they say Janibek is the real deal. And those uppercuts looked really, really impressive. Let me just show everybody those uppercuts, man, because I don't care if, I mean, it was a nice knockout. It was brilliant, kind of, his power shots are pretty nice. Again, Butler, a B, C-level opponent?
Yeah, low B, upper C-level fighter at best. Like, he doesn't have that high of a ceiling. He's a guy that you want to put in there if you want to get your guy some rounds and everything. But, Janet Beck's a guy that's going to stop you, so he didn't really get any rounds with Butler. But tell you the truth, man, this is Janet Beck's future. It really is. There's not really going to be a lot of big noticeable fights in the future for Janet Beck. So maybe we see something that somebody can explore and everything, but other than that, you're not going to really know what Janet Beck is until he gets in there with a better fighter.
Yeah, and I'm curious how many of these guys that may not get a title shot. We've talked about the 154-pound division, Drew, but I'm curious if any of these very talented young fighters from 154 who have a nice build that are going to grow into their frame even more might be looking at Janet Beck like, hey, I'll take that dude on at 160. There's quite a bit of guys that are waiting in the wings. Tim Tszew's been waiting, seems like forever, for a rescheduled chance against Charlo. How many of these guys at 154 are saying, I'm done waiting, I'll move up and wait? Now, it worked out beautifully this weekend for ROlly ROmero of Las Vegas, a very likable or unlikable, polarizing guy, gifted on the microphone, some might say, a real hoot, a real riot. Now, Larry Liston's jumping ahead, but we might as well get to the good stuff, man, because it was just a travesty what happened. And he says here, I want to read this. It was a horrible stoppage, but I don't like people putting the blame on ROlly or Barroso. The referee ruined what could have been a good fight. Tony Weeks is the one at fault. Oh, man, Drew. And I agree 100% with Larry Liston here, man, because that fight was just starting to get interesting. The fight was just starting to get cooking, Drew. And somehow Tony Weeks, a very experienced Hall of Fame type referee, imagined that Barroso was getting hit cleanly and was in dangerous peril of being knocked out unconscious and put on a stretcher and put into comatose. Did you see that happening? Did anybody in their right freaking mind in that small stadium of 3,000 people see an imminent danger to the life of Barroso that he had to wave it off? And I'll show that stoppage, Drew, but rant on that, man. Let me bring up some pictures about this event.
Nah, I'll be honest with you, ROlly ROmero, that just showed ROlly ROmero was a fucking bum. He's a bum. This guy was on his way of beating ROlly ROmero. The dude wasn't even hurt. The dude was not even in a position that he was going to get hurt. And it's a title fight, for Christ's sake. I see referees giving fighters leeway and everything. They ain't giving no fucking leeway. He knocked ROlly ROmero down. Here's the thing. This was a fix. I have to say, this was a fucking fix. Because they could not trust ROlly ROmero to win a clean fight against this guy. And it just showed it. ROlly ROmero got knocked down cleanly. If you look at the free scorecards, the dude was fucking beating ROlly in all three cards. Let's
bring up that scorecard, and then I'll bring up the video of the bullshit-ass stoppage by Tony Weeks. I do have the scorecard here. Let me just pull that up. Man, yeah, I have to agree with a lot of people in this chat, man, but I don't know. Now I kind of regret that I wasn't there to see this bullshit in person, but I'm on the fence. All right, guys, here's the scorecard. As Drew pointed out, ROlly ROmero won by TKO technical decision, 2 minutes and 41 of round 9, was down on every scorecard. And we joke about this guy. Listen, my wife had to call her dad, who's my father-in-law's a huge boxing fan. Oh, put on Showtime. There was going to be a great fight. And he's like, what the? My father-in-law's like, how old is this guy? No disrespect to Barroso, but even Paulie Malignaggi pointed out, there's no verifiable way to really know how old an opponent is. For a guy who could easily appear to be well into his 40s, man, he was handling ROlly. When he landed that hard left in round 2, I think we were suddenly, most people who had written off Barroso were like, this dude came to fight. This dude can crack, even though he's up there. He did not come to lay down and take an easy paycheck. He came to win this title. So I thought we were in for a treat because suddenly ROlly was down on all the scorecards, and I was getting excited about seeing a potential upset a major upset and a great story too for the sport of boxing to see a 40-year-old win who knows how old he is, but someone at 40 years old to win the 140-pound title is a remarkable feat. This stuff happens in the heavyweight division. Yes.
Why are we calling that an upset? It's not an upset. Like, ROlly ROmero is a bum. He should have never got that decision over Jackson. He clearly lost that fight, and he was awarded a gifted decision. Like, this wasn't going to be an upset. This was going to be, he fought a guy with a lot of experience, and the experience got to him, and ROlly could not take a punch. Like, ROlly ROmero, I'm sorry, ROlly ROmero is a C-level fighter. At best, a C+. But, like, he's not that. He's a bum. And they wanted to get this fucking belt on a PBC fighter that can make money for them. That's ROlly ROmero. And the idea is they're probably going to match him up with Tank because it's an easy fight for Tank. Like,
word up. Nando Lama says this was a scam before and after the fight, and our homeboy Chicano Prophet of Chile says this was the most blatant fix I've ever seen. ROlly ROmero went on to be quoted. It says here, he, Barroso, punches 1 million times harder than Gervonta Tank Davis. I'm not exaggerating. He punches hard. This is not the first time ROlly has tasted the canvas professionally. And, you know, recently, Drew, I got an associate of mine in Las Vegas that just decided he was going to go live stream at TMT until he was thrown out by ROlly ROmero just recently. And in that same week, a leaked sparring footage of an up-and-coming prospect was leaked. And this is the exact reason why they don't want live streamers and random YouTubers and non-journalists to be in gyms like TMT. But it was leaked that ROlly got dropped in sparring by an up-and-coming prospect. So this may be, going forward, it's clear as night and day that, you know, ROlly's got to focus on his defense if he intends to keep this 140-pound strap, because now he was essentially gifted it. I'm not going to cap, man. We ain't going to fake the funk, man. He was gifted this WBA 140-pound title. What he chooses to do with it, capitalize on the money-making opportunities, that's up to him. But right away, man, he made it clear. He's got a long-standing beef with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is a guy he's hurt in sparring. Like we said, they've got sparring leakage everywhere of that. Ryan can command a huge pay-per-view audience. That was just tested. We found out that when he fought Tank Davis. This is a fight ROlly thinks I could win, and I could be the A side because I have the belt. So these are some of the opponents that some people are speculating. Personally, there's so many dudes at 140 pounds that probably would smoke ROlly. But for me, for your boy Dave, I would like to see him fight the newly signed DAZN fighter and see PBC work with DAZN again and give the man on the top left from Louisiana, 140-pound champion, an opportunity to unify those belts, Drew. Not Tank, not ROlly. Let me see you unify the title against a real champ, all right? And then let these two guys, Gervonta Tank Davis and ROlly, let me see you fight the real champ. Not ROlly ROmero. Let me see you fight a real champion at 140 pounds. That's what I want to see. Your thoughts, Drew?
We just programmed a knockout ROlly ROmero inside 2 rounds.
That's a real champion. That's a unification. Why is that a bigger fight than you versus an unranked Ryan Garcia? If Ryan Garcia even ranked, how do we keep repeating the same bullshit where a guy from the weight class below can just suddenly come up, not fight nobody in the division, and get a title shot? Only the WBA, really? I mean, the WBA allows this bullshit? Well, let me see you fight the best, one of the best, in Regis Prograis. Work across the platforms. This is a unification fight. Let me see that fight. If you win, you win. Even better. Then your fight against Tank Davis, the rematch, or your fight against Ryan Garcia would be even bigger. But we all know that's a fucking pipe dream, because when do they ever do what fans want? When do they ever do what we want?
It just reminds me, like, what do they do when the fans want? There's one thing, this topic that I've been just talking about, since the Canelo fight happened and everything. I've been talking with a lot of people about boxing fans getting what they want and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I feel like we're heading towards that more of when boxing first started going on a decline. Like with Mayweather, like how Mayweather became was a cash cow, and then he picked the fights that he wants to fight, and he would pick guys that were exposed, no guys in their prime, guys that were on their way out and fighting and everything, and he would make money but he was one of the main reasons why boxing started going on a decline. And and I know we're going off subject, my bad, but here's the thing, man. And I gotta say this too. Canelo Alvarez do not follow in the footsteps of Floyd Mayweather Jr. Be better than Floyd Mayweather Jr. Take the fights you're still 32 years old. Yeah, you got wear and tear on you still and everything. But do what Floyd wouldn't do. Take the dangerous fights.
Well, I think you're calling for that Benavidez fight. And right now we got a caller. Speaking of callers, we got one of my favorites. Nando, ¿qué pasa, homie?
Hey, what's up, Dave? What's up, Drew? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, man. Your thoughts on this weekend? Was it a bullshit weekend? As we come into a major, major weekend, as we're going to see two guys go for Undisputed, the lightweight division, some of the two real top fighters. No cap, no bullshit, no fabrication. I mean, was this a weekend potentially leading? Did this weekend say next weekend is going to be a letdown, or are we just going to ignore the fact that somebody was gifted a belt? Just there was blatant corruption, almost as Paulie Malignaggi said, it was criminal. What happened on Saturday?
I'll just say this much, man. It's making me more excited for Loma and Haney now. This past weekend was. I didn't even really bother to watch any of the fights, to be honest, man. I knew it wasn't going to be that great. For example, that fight with Janibek this weekend, I could have bought tickets for $25 to go to that. Good seats. I was like, nah, I didn't want to bother. I saw the card and I was like, nah, it's not that great.
$25.
Then the showtime, I mean, yeah, dude, for center rise was 15 rows up, center ring was $25.
Damn. And you want to know something?
Stockton.
The ROlly fight, there was scalpers at the last minute doing $50 seats to go to the Cosmopolitan. By the way, Cosmopolitan is a beautiful place to go see fights. We're going to see a rematch this weekend of Adam Blue Nose Lopez, who was gracious enough to talk to Drew and I. We're going to see the rematch that I saw in person when Adam Blue Nose Lopez shocked everybody and dropped Oscar Valdez. That's the co-main. So I should be getting excited. I'll be there, as a lot of people that are known in the YouTube community will be there this Saturday. But Nando, so did you see that knockdown? And what do you think? A Hall of Fame referee like Tony Weeks, I mean, was he justified? He didn't even want to do a post-conference interview.
You know what, dude? I've been a big fan of Tony Weeks, going back to the Corrales-Castillo fight, right? He did a great job with that. But I also saw Tony Weeks covered in blood maybe a year or two ago in that Badu Jack fight. He didn't stop that fight, and Badu Jack had a big old cut down the center of his forehead, Badu Jack was bleeding out, and Weeks still wouldn't stop the fight. And then he stops this fight. I don't know, man. This feels like a big old scam. It felt like a scam in my gut. Usually I don't like to say boxing is really that corrupt, but man. I mean, before the fight even started, dude, ROlly had no business fighting for a championship title after he lost a year ago at 135, got knocked out by Tank. How does that guy qualify in any which way to be in a championship fight for a real belt at 140? It was a scam from the beginning. That's why I didn't bother to watch that fight either. I knew it was going to be a scam somehow, and it was. It was horrible, man. You know what it feels like, dude? It feels like the last few days of HBO boxing, man. This is what Showtime is starting to feel like to me. A bunch of crappy fights, low budget shit that I'm not interested in. Yeah, maybe they'll find one good fight on a card they paid $500,000 for, which is nothing. But it's all by accident. I mean, the main event wasn't supposed to be a great fight. It was supposed to be a coronation for ROlly.
Yeah, brother, I totally understand. And as these networks that own and consolidate, you know, like the ownership of Showtime, and there's supposed to be some serious cuts coming to a lot of these sports, like ESPN is owned by Disney. There's cuts coming big time. There's cuts coming to Showtime. We're going to see how that impacts payrolls and how much they're willing to spend on productions. But this shit on Saturday, I mean, I don't even know, man. They should have just called it off when the actual champion got busted for the banned substance. They should have just called it off and not just given this belt away. But they had a master plan. But you know what? Nando, you're my boy from the Bay Area, and Ruben Villa had a feel good night. Ruben Villa from Salinas, man. And I think earlier I saw a comment, and I appreciate all the comments. Keep that same energy for Jake. You know that Jake got one of these top Bob Santos. Bob Santos is one of the top coaches in boxing right now, and he's from San Jose, California. And he's hired Bob to retool his game coming off that Tommy Fury loss. But Ruben was there, and so was Nate Diaz, man, representing the 209, the Stockton Kings. I mean, man, what a great picture that this is to see Nate Diaz and Ruben. And so hopefully, man, I can't tell you how much I'm hoping that he has got the best. I think I heard him say he was calling all Northern Bay Area boxers if they want to come in and get some work to come into his camp, man. But he's taking the fight serious. But, oh, man, we'll see, man.
Well, I think Ruben, like you, just like you, I'm rooting for Ruben. And hopefully he starts showing some power like he did this past Saturday. You know, because what Top Rank is doing is really smart, man. They're building up their featherweight division. You know, they got the Venado. They got the Irish guy also, right? They got a bunch of guys at featherweight.
They got the Cuban guy that just won the belt. The Cuban guy?
Exactly. I think they're setting up I think they're setting up their division for the monster. You know, if the monster comes up, what's going to be the next weight division he's going to be at next year? Featherweight.
Inoue?
You know?
From 122. You think Inoue? Yeah. Did you forget my co-host from Philadelphia, Drew? He's already saying Inoue's a shoe-in to win that 122 title and keep going.
No, that's a great fight. No, I'm not.
He forgot about the name of the Irish guy.
Mick Collin. I know his name. I just Collin.
Hey, that's a big fight too.
And Stephen Colbert. Yeah, Stephen Fulton's fighting Inoue in next month, right? In July or a couple months from now. So I'm just saying, man, like if Ruben could hold on and put himself in the mix, he's in line for a big payday, man, a big fight, man. And I'd be happy for him, man, you know?
Yeah, so shout out to everybody from Northern California. Places like Stockton and even Central Valley, like Fresno, man, they're vital. They are vital to the sport of boxing because whether we like it or not, the majority of fighters going into USA Amateur Boxing are Latinos and blacks, and occasionally you'll have some, other parents that are like, I'll put my child at risk, you know. But if you don't have towns and communities like that, then you don't have the future of USA Amateur Boxing programs. So shout out to everybody in Northern California, Southern California, Central Valley, Texas, everywhere where boxers are made, because people with rough stories, hard stories, sometimes make the most interesting and best fighters. Because Barroso, Nando, Drew, did you guys hear that Barroso's wife, he's a victim of violence in Venezuela, a very poor country. My stepdad is Venezuelan. They've faced so many issues with crime and poverty. And he actually found out that his wife was murdered. I did not know this. Did they tell us this? The boxing fans, did they tell you his wife was murdered right before a fight? Not this fight, but right before a prior fight? Like, that's a fucked up shit, man. This guy deserved to be world champion on Saturday night. And it looked like he was going to, at least, it looked like he was on his way to have that, to become a world title holder at 140. Something good happened to you. When something so awful like being a victim of violence, like what happened to Gabe Flores, and Gabe Flores losing his mother on Mother's Day, you know his mom was watching over him. You know his mom was there in the ring on Saturday night. That was special for Gabe Flores to come back with a knockdown. Just for once, man, you wish that the right thing in the sport of boxing, that there's justice, that there's equality, that the right thing is done, and that's all taken away by some fucking nefarious sanctioning bodies that have their own agenda. It's clear as night and day that some of these sanctioning bodies have their own agenda, and the rest of us are just suckers to pay for it. Or I don't know. I'm pretty upset at myself, man. I love this sport, but it could be so ugly. Drew, let's talk about what really is happening is this weekend, man. We already brought up Haney Loma. Is there a wager that I know I can remind everybody who's listening about this wager? Let's get to the wager.
Well, we're in a chat. We're in Maestro's chat, and Nando was like, how about $10 on this fight, Drew? I was like, how about 20 we call it a day? Offer you can't refuse and everything. JC wants to take Nando on a boat. He asked me if I wanted to go with him. I said, you can't have no witnesses what you do to Nando, man. It's how that shit is, man.
You're so bad.
And gotta make sure, Nando, make sure you say your Hail Marys while you're on that boat too, by the way.
Oh, shit.
Hey, Drew, how we say out here in the Bay Area, Drew? Bitch better have my money. That's all we know, man. That's all we know, Drew. Bitch better have my money.
But same JC's not in chat right now, man. He could have confirmed whether or not Nando said his Hail Marys while he was on the boat fishing.
I don't need any backup, Drew. I don't need any backup. Let's talk about Loma, Drew. I don't need any backup. Let's talk about Loma, man.
Let's
talk
about
Hall of
Loma.
Famer if he loses another big fight? Is he a Hall of Famer if he loses another big fight? I just want to know.
There's a thing. He already won 3 big fights, man.
Against who?
Nando.
Against who? Name them.
Gary Russell was a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter when he dominated him.
That guy's semi-retired, Drew. That guy's never going to sniff a Hall of Fame. Name me one guy that Loma beat that might even get a vote for the Hall of Fame. Name me one guy.
Dude, he beat 2 pound-for-pound top 5 fighters in his career. The undefeated guys.
Which one's going to get a Hall of Fame vote? Which one? Name me one. If you're an all-time great, which he's been made out to be, he should at least beat one other Hall of Famer, right? He hasn't even beat a guy that's going to get a vote for the Hall of Fame, When I think of all-time greats, I think of Bernard Hopkins, I think of De La Hoya, I think of Mike Tyson, I think of Manny Pacquiao. The guys that they were hyping him up to be from the very beginning, he has not come anywhere near close to any of those guys. None of them.
Fastest 3-weight division champion, easily beat Gary Russell Jr.
Those are paper titles. Those are paper titles. They're no better than what Tank's done. Who cares? Against who?
Paper titles. That was a legitimate title Loma beat Russell for.
Who's the great fighter they beat? I don't give a shit. Name a great fighter that he beat. Name me one.
If they were top 5 of the pound list at the time, they were a great fighter at that time. And they were in their prime.
Dude, people are never going to remember Gary Russell, dude. He is done and forgotten already about it.
Both of them. He dominated both of them. They didn't even win a round off Lomachenko. Neither one of them. He made Regan down quick.
Who gives a shit? Nobody cares about Gary Russell. He's done. Stick a fork in him. He's never going to sniff the Hall of Fame.
That's one of his great wins. He was a top 5 pound for pound. You got to get
that's a shame, man. Then I'm not impressed.
This is a great conversation, guys. You know what? Next Monday, I'm going to ask if she's available, or next Tuesday. But Gail Falkenthal from NY Fights. Shout out to Gail being the West Coast editor for NY Fights. But Drew and Nando, she is now an official member of the Boxing Writers Association. She is a casting vote member for exactly what you guys are arguing about, casting a vote on the Hall of Fame. So we can ask her. We'll find out next Monday who wins. If, for me, it's a shoe-in for Loma should he win next Monday. The argument that he's not Hall of Fame, I don't know, man. Like, we're going to be arguing about whether or not Adrian Broner. Someday, we could be arguing about Adrian Broner. Should they let him in?
No way,
How many titles did he win? How many titles did Adrian Broner win?
In the Hall of Fame before Lomachenko.
Huh? Oh, my God, dude. He's not going to fit the Hall of Fame either. I put him with Gary Russell.
Well, it's be very interesting. But on the same token, if Loma pulls off the victory, are you prepared to say he's an
all-time great?
Then he's an all-time great. Well, let's talk about that, guys. Let's ask the chat.
I'll say why. I'll tell you why he's an all-time great. I'll say why he's an all-time great. I'm sorry to interrupt you, this. I'll say why Loma will be all-time great if he beats Haney. One, he'll beat a guy a lot younger than him.
23,
he's not favored in this
24,
fight. He'll be an upset.
Right?
Yes, there'll be an upset. The guy's bigger than him. You know, Haney's going to be weight drained. He's bigger than him, and he's the favorite. Including myself, I favor Haney right after I made the bet. If he can pull off a big upset in a big fight, that will make and become undisputed. Then he's a Hall of Famer.
Again, no, he never was undisputed. This is his last chance to be undisputed.
We're gonna stop that narrative of undisputed because he was never undisputed.
The last time I seen Loma in a big fight, he lost it.
let's bring up some of the key issues at stake for the Loma fight. In his last fight against Jermaine Ortiz, he got off to a very late start, giving up the young fighter. We just talked about age. He gave up all those early rounds against Teofimo Lopez, and Teofimo's got a lot to say about this fight, and you'll be surprised at who he thinks is going to win this fight. Against Teo, Drew, he started incredibly late. All right? I am sure that the Haney game plan is going to be to come forward for as long as possible in the early part of the fight, because Loma fights much better being the aggressor. So if he can keep Loma on the back foot, he can win these early rounds. And Drew, to me, last I remember, you only got to win 7 of 5 from the majority of the judges' scorecards. This is entirely possible for Devin Haney to maintain being the undisputed champion at the lightweight division. Very easy. Could be very easy work for him if he doesn't stray from the game plan for Devin Haney, Drew. But since you're a big supporter of Loma, what can Loma do to pull off this upset? Is it going to be an upset? I don't even know how the odds are right now. Let me know what the odds are.
It's not an upset. It's a 2-1. He's a 2-1 underdog. It's not an upset if he beats Devin Haney. A lot of people think he's going to beat Devin Haney now. And the thing about it is, Devin Haney does not do great against small guys. He let Jojo Diaz get inside and have success against him.
Southpaw.
And Loma is a southpaw also. And Yuriokis Gamboa got inside and has success against him too. He's able to hold these bigger guys at his height or close to his height and everything. Smaller guys, he's not going to be able to, and he's never fought a guy that's actually a pure boxer. He used to fighting guys that stand in front of him the whole time. Like Linares was able to get a counter shot in on him. It's not almost stopped him if the referee didn't let Honey hold for like a round and fucking a half straight without warning him and everything. It's more like a fucking hugging fest instead of punching.
Well, clinching is going to be a very big issue, Drew. I agree with you, and you got to bring that up. How much the referee is going to allow Devin Haney to clinch when they get in the pocket? Because I'm going to favor Loma. I will favor Loma, Drew, that Loma's going to get the best of Haney in the pocket. And this is why it's important for Devin Haney to not deviate from the game plan, because he's masterful at distance. Actually, he's really good. He's just a step behind, to me, Shakur Stevenson at the distance game, right? So, Drew,
here's the thing.
Will Loma be effective in the pocket? Is he going to work Devin Haney without being sucked into the clinch?
Haney, it depends who's going to referee. If it's Kenny Bayless, no way. Haney's going to have a field day trying to hold Loma, but I think when he even tries to clinch Loma, Loma's going to slip to the side like he did against Jermaine Ortiz and hit him with a body shot, because Jermaine Ortiz went to clinch, and then Loma slid to the side and able to hit that body shot. This was a really good warm-up, tune-up fight for Devin Haney, for Jermaine Ortiz.
A very tough young fighter. Jermaine Ortiz is very underrated.
Jermaine Ortiz is stronger than Devin Haney.
That's
the
interesting.
The only issue with Jermaine Ortiz is a gas tank issue,
which he had never fought. This is a guy who had never fought 12 rounds, Jermaine Ortiz. So, Devin Haney is ready and has gone the distance, and we've seen him hurt against Linares in those late rounds. The question is, does he have enough size on him? Does he have enough stamina himself? Lomachenko, who's a late starter, Drew, will he be effective in the pocket? Will we see his patented lead step dominance? The lead foot dominance is going to be very crucial on Saturday night.
Here's the thing.
Can I say something, Dave?
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Nando, can Nando make a point real quick, Drew, and come back to your point? Go ahead, Nando.
And for Loma to win, dude, and I'm being like this, I'm not messing with Drew anymore. He needs to start fast and be active and pile up the points. He can't waste time like he's done in some of these other fights where he's, quote unquote downloading, right? Like they say on ESPN, which is bullshit. He needs to start active. He needs to out hustle Devin Haney and steal some points. If he gets ahead on the cards and Haney knows that Loma's ahead in the card, Haney's more likely to come out of the shell, and that's when Loma could catch him. He could actually knock in the later rounds, because, one, Haney's weight drained, and two, he has been rocked before. So I think the real key for Loma is to be active and aggressive early on. That's a big key for him. if he comes out like he did against Teofimo, where he's waiting for Haney to lead the action to do the jab and grab that Haney likes to do, it's gonna be a long night. It's gonna be a long night. So that's the key for Lomachenko, is to pile up the points early and bring Haney out of the shell. You know, be active, aggressive.
Go ahead, Drew.
The thing with Loma, when he gets inside and Haney tries to grab him, or Haney would try to jab him and everything, Haney always leaves himself open. He always leaves his non-throwing hand down when he throws one punch. And he always does it. Loma gets to the side, either a body shot or a counter right or an uppercut. He leaves himself open for 3 punches in the inside. And and if you watch the Jermaine Ortiz fight, Loma did the exact same thing I said he would do. He was able to hit an uppercut inside on Jermaine Ortiz from the side. He's able to do that he'll be able to do that more with Devin Haney, because Devin Haney leaves himself wide open more to get countered. And no one's able to make him pay because he holds him, or a guy that's not a pure boxer is not punching with him. Loma knows, if I'm going to get inside, I have to punch with him, and I have to use my footwork, because once he punches, I'm going to slip to the side, and I got a 1-2 combination open on Devin Haney to the body or to the face and the body.
Drew got me thinking, man. I got to be honest with you, Nando. I haven't announced my pick, man, but Drew got me thinking, because Devin does have that flaw that when he resets, he does leave one of his hands defensively down, which gives an opportunity for Loma to counter. He does make that good point. That's exactly how Linares caught him. But Drew, did Lomachenko study the Drew tapes? Did he listen to you, or does he need to download it actually in the ring, or has he been watching the tapes on Devin Haney? Because like everyone here has said, including the chat, he cannot afford to take 4 rounds in a 12-round championship fight to gather and download the data on Devin Haney this Saturday.
I think Loma's going to start. I think Loma's really this is like back. He said he's being like Olympic style training, like he was trained for the Olympics and everything. And I'm seeing Lomachenko squatting like fucking 250 pounds.
Oh, okay. Well, that's going to do it. No, I'm just kidding.
And everything. And like, if I'm watching these episodes of the build-up and everything, Loma's like...
Lomachenko's always look good in those videos, man. Come on. He always look good in those videos. He's always looking good in those videos, man.
I haven't watched any of the videos. I'm going to the fight.
I look at it like this. Devin Haney, I think Devin Haney is the more roady fighter than Lomachenko, because he's trying to hype himself up for this fight, knowing how much pressure is on him. He has all the pressure on him.
But he's done well. He's proven it.
That's what they said about Teofimo. Hey, Drew, that's what they said about Teofimo. He was talking a lot of shit to Loma before the fight because his head was all messed up. And in fact, I think he did get in Loma's head, right? Because Loma was the one that was shit in the bed for the first 6 rounds. He was freaked out by Teofimo.
Speaking of Nando, speaking of Teofimo,
trying to get in his head too.
I got this quote here. Most of you guys watching the show probably on your TV could read it. It's pretty small here, but this was kind of shocking for me to see Teofimo Lopez say, I think I got Lomachenko winning this fight. The only reason why I say that is just the punch IQ that this man throws and what he does. He'll get you tired. Even though Devin Haney has the conditioning for it, you have to commit. You can't just play defense with Loma. You can't play defense with Loma. You can't. You got to attack by all means necessary. And I don't think Devin got that dog in him to do it. That is
Devin is a 1-2 punch fighter at best. He does not throw more than 2 punches at a time. He's a guy that's going to try to jab and hold you. That's his whole fight style. If a guy is going to make Devin Haney move his feet a lot more, Loma has better footwork than Devin Haney, period. Loma has better wing IQ than Devin Haney, period.
He should have more experience.
Yeah,
this is a fight.
So now,
he should have a lot more experience, Drew. Olympic level, 400 amateur fights.
Yeah. So now, if you look at it like this, like I was saying, Devin is the one trying to hype himself up, saying that, oh, he ducked me 4 years ago. Oh, I'm going to retire Lomachenko. Lomachenko's like this. Do the talking in the ring. I'm done talking. We're doing
okay, well, before the Teofimo fight, how'd that work out for him?
Like, here's the thing, man. Teofimo had power. This guy doesn't. And now we're going to really, Loma's going to look at it like this. I can't do this again against another young fighter, start slow. I got to go and get this guy, and I got to let this guy know he's in for a long night. And I'll tell you this right now, I wouldn't be surprised if Loma catches him and stops him. Like, Loma still has that ability to stop you. It's just there still. He's made guys that are bigger than him look horrible.
You talking about Nakatani?
Nakatani, Coney.
Pretty tall.
Like, I look at it like this. This is the first time Loma's been an underdog since the Gary Russell fight. Loma looks at it like this. Everybody's doubting me. Everybody. This time around, everybody's doubting me. Nobody thinks I'm going to beat this guy. They keep saying he's bigger than me. I'm too old and everything. But they're not putting the facts out. He struggles against little guys, Haney, because he can't control a range with those little guys like he can with the taller guys, because the little guys can get inside Haney and have success.
Hey, you know who Loma? Hey, you want to know who Loma just struggles against? I know you're blowing up Loma big time. You know he's lost a couple fights, but you know what I mean. Like, but hold on, Drew. You know who Loma has a hard time with? Big physical guys like Toledo, right? Toledo out physicals him and beat him. Teofimo was bigger and more physical than him. And he won the fight as soon as he walked in the ring. He'd already beat Loma. So I mean, don't think for 1 second that Haney's afraid to get physical with him. Obviously, he likes to jab and grab, right? He likes to get up on dudes. So he's gonna be grabbing Loma. He's gonna be hugging him up a little bit and see how Loma handles it. You know?
This is where Nando.
Like Loma's unbeatable. That has been the case.
But I favor. That's exactly where I favor.
Loma's unbeatable.
I favor Loma, Drew. I favor Loma in the clinch.
If he gets the clinch going.
I think he's going to get it going, but it's going to become an issue quickly in the mid round, and Loma will be pointing it out to the referee as he does usually, and we may see a stop to it. It would be appropriate if you see a warning. I would like to see that. This is a world championship fight. If we have a real referee to apply a warning, because I don't want to see a fight where the clinch is used to retain. I want to see some boxing skill this Saturday night.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think we get a referee in there that wants Haney multiple times. You got to stop holding. You're going to fight or I'm going to take points off you.
This is hard to say, Drew, because if Bob Arum, if there's actual corruption like we all suspect and see with our own eyes in the sport of boxing, there's an incentive for Top Ranked to have Lomachenko fight Shakur Stevenson. There's an equal incentive to see Haney versus Shakur Stevenson. Although I think we all kind of know that Haney, this is his last fight at 135. The writing's on the wall physically for Devin Haney. There's not much incentive for him to stay at 135 and continue to drain himself and look bad, be undefeated essentially, and to get made look like shit, like a C-level opponent by Shakur Stevenson. There's no incentive for him to do that fight.
See, we already are trying to
thing, Dave.
Yeah, Nando. Go ahead. Sorry, Drew.
One thing, dude, like I just think Top Rank, regardless of what you think about Lomachenko, made a tactical error by not lining up Shakur first against Haney and having Shakur take all those belts and then fighting Loma. Because if Loma loses to Haney and Haney moves up, all those belts are going to like scatter, and good luck to anybody trying to grab them up again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to go to PDC. They're going to go everywhere. And you're going to have a hard time making fights again.
You're going to have to ROlly ROmero
making
that tank fight.
We're going to have the ROlly ROmero situation all over again. Guys you never heard of that weigh 130, winning the world title at 135.
Here's a thing.
Tank's going to become the WBA champ. If Haney moves up, Tank becomes the champion. And you think he's gonna give that belt or use that belt to fight Shakur at any time? No, he's gonna say, I'm the champion in my own right, just like we saw with Crawford and Spence. They both lived in their own little universe as champions.
Oh man, I didn't play this scenario in my head.
Here's the thing. The only way
whereas if Shakur wins all the belts, then he's got the higher ground versus Tank in negotiations. I think Top Rank messed up, man. Just because their favorite guy has always been Loma, they've always catered to his needs. They messed up, man. They might have messed up, dude. If they could have made Shakur the champion, undisputed champion at lightweight, they would have had the higher ground versus negotiations with Tank. Now we're gonna get it. Watch, 2 years from now, we're gonna have the exact same situation we have with Bud and Spence. Tank's gonna be his own little champion in his own little world that refuses to fight Shakur at lightweight.
Well, Nando, to your point about that, here's the thing. First of all, they have to mandate Haney to fight, the winner to fight Tank Davis, which they haven't done in a long. They have not since he had that Reggie belt.
Tank has the Reggie. Has the Reggie.
But they have to mandate him to defend against
and
the
Reggie
champion.
Tank becomes the champion automatically.
Now, if the champion doesn't defend the belt against him, he does. But if the champion, he has to mandate the fight first for him to get rewarded the title if the champion refuses to fight him. That's how the interim title, too, is the WBC. Let's say Canelo moves up from 170 to 175, and Benavidez is the interim champion. If they mandate him to fight Benavidez and he moves up, Benavidez is elevated to the main champion. That's how that will go with
it's the WBA, Drew. We already saw the WBA is all lined up with PBC. Maybe you're right. They'll say, Tank, hey, go fight and we'll make you the WBA champ. That still benefits PBC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What we're going to get, what I'm saying is, by Shakur not becoming undisputed, by beating Haney, now we're going to get the same situation we have at welterweight, where these guys never fight each other. They live in their own little universe, making their own fights, and we never get to see the fight. And it's been 10 years, been hoping for a Bud versus Spence. We still haven't gotten it.
But
that's what we're going to have at lightweight, too. Tank's going to live in his own little universe. He's never going to fight Shakur.
I wonder if there's a rematch clause in this fight for Haney if he loses to Lomachenko.
Oh, there is. There is.
There's got to be.
It's in the contract. It just hasn't been publicly revealed.
Here's the thing. If he's moving, here's the thing. I think people are using the weight train thing right away as an excuse if he beats Haney already. But the thing about it is, man, will he exercise a rematch clause if he loses to Lomachenko, or will he just move up to 140, push himself to make 135 again, just to probably lose again, or move up to 140 and campaign now, knowing you got guys you could potentially beat at 140.
Teofimo set the precedent already, man. He lost to a Kambosos, a guy he could have easily have rematched, but he said, my body won't make the weight. I mean, the precedent is there. Ryan Garcia just lost at 135. Teofimo lost at 135. All these guys say they just can't make that weight. So I think the precedent is there. I see Devin Haney moving up. But let's get to it, man. Let's put our names and everything on the line right here. It's time to make the official prediction, Drew. I'll let you be first, Drew. Do we have any questions?
I got Loma 8-4 decision. I wouldn't be surprised if he stops him. I'm going to put a bet in on the site for a stoppage win for Loma just to win the money. Just it's a nice line, better line too. It's like plus 700.
It is.
That's a great deal. That's a great deal.
715, I believe it is, for a KO, TKO, or disqualification for Loma and everything. So if you bet $20, guys, you win $150. If Loma wins by that way.
Drew,
so
you just reminded me that I live in Sin City now, and I can go just down the street over here to the South Point Casino.
Guys,
I might have to make that wager. And that's why, guys, it's very important that you follow the Shoe Shine, hit the notification bell.
But I can see Loma really, his footwork is going to be key in this fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Loma's going to be this is going to be a totally different Loma than before. I really think Loma knows this is his very last chance, and he's going to fight like this is his very last chance. He's going to put all the tricks out. And we're going to see the best Devin Haney. And hopefully it's going to be a good fight. This is the fight. This is the fight at 135, not Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia.
Yep.
This is the fight at 135. And
I agree.
And the people need to realize it. It may not do the numbers as Tank and Ryan did. Unfortunately, it probably won't. But this is the main fight at 135 because
the real deal. Mm-hmm.
This is the champion. This is the real championship fight, not no Reggie title fight and everything. But the question will be, after this fight, are we going to see Shakur Stevenson fight the winner, or is Tank actually going to step up, or the WBA is going to actually mandate that fight? That's a lot of questions after the fight. So, still a lot of questions after this fight, regardless of who wins.
Lots of questions, and we'll get to those next week, and we'll be debating them all summer long. Now to my favorite caller, probably sometimes our only caller. No, I'm just kidding. What's your take, bro? What's your take, man? Who's winning this fight?
Well, honestly, dude, like, if it was just a straight-up fight, I would favor Loma. But that dude, I'm serious, dude, I'm not just talking shit, man. He always finds a way to lose the big fights, man. Like, I don't know if it's his dad, Papachenko, that gives him a horrible game plan or what it is, man. But I just do not have faith in Lomachenko to win the big fights. I just don't. I have a feeling that he's just been so entitled his whole life, right, as a amateur champion. Everybody's been kissing his butt from day one. That anytime he faces any kind of adversity, it kind of freaks him out a little bit. You know, he's not used to it. You know, so if I had to bet money, like at a casino, I would bet on Loma. But in my gut, I think Haney's gonna find a way to win. Win. He's motivated. Both guys have their pluses and minuses, right? You could say Lomachenko's smaller than Devin, but you could also say Devin's gonna be a little bit weight drained or whatever, right? I don't think there's gonna be any physical advantages for either guy. Any guy should be making any excuses, you know. If Loma is a great all-time great fighter, he needs to win a big fight when he doesn't have his fastball anymore. You know, he needs to find a way, like Pacquiao's done, like Hopkins has done. Like a lot of great fighters, when they're a little bit past their prime, they still find a way to find a signature victory a little bit past their prime. And that's what Lomachenko needs to do. He needs to show that he really is an all-time great. Win a fight that he's not favored in when he doesn't have his fastball. You know, let's see that. I want to see it, you know. Then I will bow down to Loma. But for right now, I'm favoring Haney. I think Haney finds a way to win. I think he's always had his eyes on Loma. He's always felt like Loma skipped him over with that franchise belt, you know. So I think this is going to be a good fight, man. When I hear the bell ring, it's going to be a 50-50 fight by favor Haney, because I think Loma always finds a way to lose. So we'll see. Thank you for taking my phone call, man.
I appreciate you, Nando. Great every time. All right, guys.
Nando has one of those things to his neck when he's talking. It sounds like it.
The robot voice. Guys,
Yeah.
in an era where boxers are now taking a non-traditional route to earn legacy or clout, as some people would say, man, I have to pay my respect to the fact that Loma and Devin Haney, a San Francisco-born kid who's raised in Oakland, has done everything the traditional boxer does in becoming a legend in the sport and cementing their own legacy. Lomachenko fighting over 400 amateur fights, an Olympian, gold medalist. Devin Haney taking an alternative route. That's 16, 17-year-olds, top national amateur championship in the U.S. saying, I'm going to Mexico. You know, while kids are going to the prom, Devin Haney's going to Mexico to fight grown men, to learn the trade on the job. One guy went the committed 100% to the amateur system, 400 amateur fights, going all the way to the Olympics, fighting the very best international talent. Devin Haney learning on the job, not necessarily fighting any good talent in Tijuana, Drew. And yet here they meet this Saturday night. Devin Haney, no Olympian, has all the titles. Respect to both of these gentlemen. This ain't no paper title fight. This is the freaking real deal. And it's a pay-per-view. I hope people buy it. I hope you guys watch it. That being said, Drew, I'm going to have to go with Devin Haney, not only because he's from San Francisco and raised in the Bay Area, Drew, but because I favor his age. I favor his youth. I favor the young lion on this one, Drew, because I've seen Lomachenko fade too much of late. I think he's going to put up a freaking amazing fight. And I think it's even possible we are going to see Devin Haney get rocked and hurt again like Linares. But when it comes time for the scorecards, I think they're going to favor Devin Haney on Saturday night. At least 7-5, potentially a draw. But I'm expect to see Devin Haney get hurt at some point in this fight because he does have a chin that leaves some questions in my mind, and I think Lomachenko's going to tag him up, Drew.
Well, Dave, if you think he's going to, if he gets hurt, Loma is a great finisher. It's more opportunity that Loma's.
Devin Haney is a great clincher. He's a great hug. He gives great hugs.
Yeah, but here's the thing. the footwork, man. Lomo gets that foot. If he has him, Lomo's gonna get the footwork and just go for that KO, man. Like Lomo's a great finisher. Like there's a huge potential that Devin Haney gets stopped this weekend.
And that's why, Drew, I'm going to hedge my bets, guys. I'm going to try to put up a short this week. My shorts was not successful last time. I'm going to try to put up a shorts placing a wager because I got to put some money on this one. I'm going to be at the fight. MGM Sportsbook's right there. I got to put some money on this fight. And do not be surprised if I put money on Lomachenko. We'll see how it gets tight, if the odds get tighter as the weekend approaches, Drew. Some other cool things that I might do this Saturday, guys. I won't be doing any, obviously, Drew, I would love to stay home and watch the fight and talk with everybody and do a watch party, but I think I'll do a pre-watch party live from the MGM somewhere. I know a lot of YouTube great personalities, media journalists, Gail, everybody's going to be there. We'll see who I run into, so make sure you watch me on Saturday. I'm going to find a bar to broadcast from before we go into the fight and give my final thoughts and see where everybody's head's at on these great matchups. Oscar Valdez and Adam Blue Nose Lopez, that's a hell of a co-main event, Drew. That's going to be a fun scrap, whichever way the outcome is. You know, Adam Blue Nose Lopez could get knocked out. We don't know. Maybe he'll finish what he started and hurting Oscar Valdez. It's going to be a good card, Drew. Starts at 3 o'clock, the action Saturday. Your final thoughts, homeboy?
You know, it's a shame this fight's not going to do high pay-per-view numbers.
Don't jinx it.
I know.
Bob was saying maybe $50 is the right price point. He's like, shit, should I make it $50?
But it is, but you know, like in order for this fight to be great, man, like a lot of people don't, you know, Devin Haney don't have a crowd pleasing style, man. You know, that's why. Like, look, they're looking like a lot of people are hoping Loma really lights it up, and we see the Matrix.
Well, they better turn up some of these promotions because I've seen barely any on regular, you know, media channels or whatnot. You know, I'm not seeing the promotion that I anticipate. I'm excited. I'm going to be in the house for this one. I'm making a point to be out there this week. So make sure you are tuned in to the Shoe Shine and other great channels. We'll see what comes up, Drew. It's been a pleasure, Drew. Thank you, everybody who joined us. Make sure you tune in this week and keep posted on all the activities. I'll be promising to put out some more content this week. And we will see you guys all again next week. Drew, you got a wager. I'll make sure to make a wager on this, and we'll see you next Monday, man. Peace out, everybody.